joke on Twitter, thank you very much. And I'm joined this afternoon by former Doctor Who script editor and writer Andrew Cartmel.
Can you say thanks to Gareth for having me here?
Indeed, and for organising the festival as well, this penultimate event. Can you all just ensure you guys our phones are off as well? Confiscating them.
Can I just ask, Matt?
Yep.
Is that alright for you as it is?
Yep. Yeah. It should, touch wood, all work as well, so fingers crossed. We've got a little bit of chat this afternoon, and we'll start a little bit by just talking a little bit about your background. Do you understand you were born in Canada?
Just to check, there'll be time for Q&A at the end.
Oh, there will be.
So, I'm Canadian-British. I've got dual citizenship, but I was born in London. And I lived here for 5 years. My dad was Canadian, but he worked over here, and then he moved, his job took him back to Canada. So I grew up in Canada for pretty much the formative years. So I felt I was Canadian, so I moved back here ever since. So it's a good to have that kind of background, because you always feel slightly an outsider wherever you are. You never take anything for granted, you know, slightly outside angle on things. So I think it helps having the background.
So where were you Doctor Who then, in that case?
How do you mean?
Well, you came back at 16, so would you have been watching the show when you came back?
I never, although I saw the show, but I never watched it, if I could put it like that. When I was in Canada, I happened to see the very first Dalek story, which blew my mind. It was the bit where they dismantle the Dalek and this squidgy, horrible squidge thing comes squidging out, and I just thought, oh, whoa. And I never lost that image. So I obviously saw some of the Doctor Who's, and it stuck in my head. But I never watched it again until I worked on the show.
One thing that did influence you was comics.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was a kid, I read comics, and then I put them aside because they were childish and foolish, because they were childish and foolish. But then people like Alan Moore came on, and they were great. And I really got into this. I'd probably be in my 20s now. And I just loved his stuff. I think the first thing I came across, I used to read 2000 AD because it was slightly severe, it was quite tongue-in-cheek. The Judge Dredd's always a bit amusing. But they had these great stories by Alan Moore. Halo Jones, notably, I thought this stuff's fantastic. He's a really good writer. And then all these other things exploded. Swamp Thing, V for Vendetta, and Watchmen, which was the big one. He's an amazing writer.
And do I understand that you once came across him when you got the job on Doctor Who?
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to make contact with him because I thought he's such a great writer. All my thinking, because it was a science fiction show and he was writing that area, I thought this would be the way to approach Doctor Who. And so I thought it would be natural to see that Alan himself wanted to write for the show. And so I knew somebody who had his phone number and asked him if I could get his phone number. And while this was going through channels, because I was a comic fan, I'd go to Westminster Comic Mart and buy all back issues. I was probably looking for Alan Moore comics. I saw, anybody who's seen Alan Moore knows he's a distinctive visual. So I saw this guy who was obviously Alan Moore, and I went up to him and said, oh look, I'm the editor, would you write for Doctor Who? And he said, I don't write for Marvel, because he thought I meant the Marvel comics. And I explained to him it was the BBC television show, and he was rather more interested. And what happened was I actually spoke to him on the phone once or twice, but at that time he was just going ballistic, like Watchmen was just taking off and he was just way too busy. But I did have this conversation with him that stuck in my mind forever. He said he liked the Hartnell show and he had these memories of it. And he said what I liked was that poking into dark mystery corners. And I thought, what a great way of putting it, So I'm sure he could have written a great one if he could have wrapped his head around the difference between writing for comics and writing a screenplay, which he might not have been able to do, but he's such a great writer, it would have been really well worth a try. So I wish we had, but he was way too busy and I couldn't have offered him much. The money wasn't great, and also there was the chance of your story getting screwed up by an unsympathetic director or poor design. So he might have had a really terrible time on the show, so I'd rather that it's better that he didn't have a terrible time, in a way.
It remains an intriguing possibility.
Yeah, it's better that he didn't do it and have a terrible time, but it would have been cool if he could have pulled it off.
I think it's comparable to having Neil Gaiman write it, the current incarnation, but a name that's quite...
Yeah, the thing about Neil Gaiman, I'd say the difference is that Gaiman had written a lot of novels. He's written a lot of stuff outside comics, whereas although Alan Moore has written a novel, he hasn't written a great deal, it's like called The Voice in the Fire or something. He hasn't written a great deal that isn't comics, he's more specialised.
You mentioned Halo Jones earlier, and I wondered whether there's a sort of yeah.
Isn't that a great clip? I like that. Halo Jones is wonderful. If you haven't read them, do read them. And the Halo Jones stories in particular did have an influence on Doctor Who because they were straight science fiction, so space opera. But what is being implied is that there's a connection between Halo and Ace, and there isn't really. Hiya. Well, thank you for coming. Yeah, Halo Jones had an influence on the show, but not on Ace. What did have an influence very directly on the Ace from the comics was Love and Rockets. I don't know if anyone knows the Love and Rockets. Yeah, she was definitely, if you think about the female rocket engineers with their short hair and their Doc Marten boots, she's that kind of character. So that definitely can influence.
I mean, also you've got the bits like there's kind of parallel to some extent. She grows up in a who is a council estate, for the best expression, because she wheels all these weapons. It's desperate trying to find a picture of where she's got the Zenade, the little grenade that calms everybody down, because you've got Ace wielding the bazooka there as well.
So there might have been subconscious parallels, but more conscious there were things I say with Hernandez brothers' creations in comic.
Well, we've got clips of the first season that you worked on.
I've seen some of these clips and they've chosen the most camp clips. So don't blame me for it. This was from Tyler the Ronnie, for which I take very little credit. So,
Let's have a little look. Fingers crossed this works. Alright.
Centralise 7, and then perhaps a quick holiday. Right, that all seems quite clear. Just 3 small points. Where am I? Who am I? And who are you? The Ronnie! Stay back!
This is idiotic. You'll injure yourself.
What should you care? Since you were exiled from Gallifrey, you've had nothing but contempt for all the Time Lords.
My contempt started long before my exile.
Now, about this trophy.
You've won the grand prize.
But what is it? I've never won anything before.
You have won our fabulous 50s tour. A whole week in Disneyland, planet Earth. And this time, they're going back to 1959, the rock and roll year.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, let's go, Doctor. Please agree. Doctor.
Well, yes, no.
Before I go, I'd just like to say...
No point now, what point hanging around wasting time?
No, I'm not going until I've said my piece. I just want
There's
to
no
say...
time, Mel.
Oh, all right, you win.
I do. I usually do.
I'm going now.
That's right, yes, you're going. You're gone for ages. You're already gone. You're still here. Just arrived. I haven't even met you yet. It all depends on who you are and how you look at it. Strange business. Time.
Goodbye, Doctor.
I'm sorry, Mel. Think about me when you're living your life, one day after another, all in a neat pattern. Think about the homeless traveller and his old police box. His days like crazy paving.
Who said anything about home? I've got much more crazy things to do yet.
okay, so to start with, I want to disavow the first two of those clips. Because if anybody has never seen anyone wearing a similar clip, you'd be justified being accused. But the third one, there is quite a lot to talk about.
I think it's fair to say though, from those first two clips, that's kind of the state the show's in as you arrive.
Is that
That's
the
the
dialectic we're setting up? Yeah, the thing about the third clip was, forgive me if you already know this history of the show, but what happened was I wrote 2 pieces, audition pieces for the actors who were trying out for the Doctor, and Sylvester knocked out of the ballpark. And one of those audition pieces was pretty much what you just heard him delivering with Bonnie from Dragonfire in the third clip. And I've been thinking, what would it actually be like to be the Doctor, to be a time traveller? And in Alan Moore's comic Watchmen, he was very influenced by the films of Nicholas Roeg, which play with time and things happen and interact. And and he'd taken this, and it's Dr. Manhattan. There's a sequence in which Dr. Manhattan, everything is happening to him at once, all at different times. And I thought it might be a bit like that for the Doctor. So I wrote this speech for the audition piece, which everybody loved. Sylvester loved it, and he kept saying, "Oh, why can't I do a scene like that from the audition piece?" Especially when he was loaded with dialogue that time in the Rani. And so he kept saying, "Oh, I want to do a scene like that," and I kept saying, "Oh, we're trying to do something like that." But he actually meant he wanted to do that scene because he loved that scene. And so when we got to Dragonfire and Mel was actually leaving, I suddenly discovered that copies of the audition piece were being photostated and inserted into the script. And Ian Briggs, who was the writer, tried writing a scene like that, but Sylvester wanted that actual scene. And so it ended up going in, and I was unhappy about it at the time because I thought it was unfair on Ian, but ultimately I was quite pleased because it is a very good scene, very touching. Although a fellow script editor at the BBC was unkind enough to call it that Dr. Manhattan ripoff. I hope it's not quite, not quite that. But yeah, so it was a scene that was never intended to go in, but it's a very touching scene and a good one. And Sylvester works very well. And in a funny way, I ended up writing a couple of memorable bits of dialogue. So although I never wrote the script, I wrote that. We'll get into something else I wrote later. So it's nice that they're often the bits that people remember. So that's fun. Although poor writers who have this stuff crowbarred and script hate it, and I would too. So I'm apologetic on that level.
How long do you think it took you to meet your stamp on the show? Given that you disallowed those from
Well, yeah, I'm not disavowing Malcolm's story, The Dogs and Bannerman, but of all the clips to show is Ken dying sequence. And then you've got Bonnie Langford there too, and it's just like, say it's shooting there. But how quickly did I begin to make mark on the show? Well, I think with Paradise Towers, because although Paradise Towers has its flaws, chiefly Richard Briers eating the scenery, and he's a great actor, and you think, he was doing these wonderful Shakespeare plays, you think, and then we got him doing his thing there. I think that the flaw with the director, who was Nick Mallett, he was a very good, very sensitive director, but he wouldn't stand up to people, and if things would go wrong, he was too polite and shy, so he would never have told Richard Briers to dial it down. So there was that problem. And there's also other problems with that story in that the cleaners, the robots wouldn't move fast enough, so they're supposed to be chasing people. And also we still had Bonnie, and I like Bonnie very much, but the character of Mel was a dead end. She was just a screamer. And so but allowing for all that, Paradise Towers began to show what we wanted to do, because it's this dystopia set in a high-rise block, and it has a certain amount of social criticism and some interesting stuff going on, like little cannibal old ladies, the residents, and the gangs, the kid gangs. So that my interest began to show there, and I felt that with Dragonfire, despite some other flaws of that design and so on, with Dragonfire, there's some really good stuff in that. So Briggs wrote some really great dialogue, really good characters. So around about that area, we're starting to hit the mark, I think.
And how did John Nathan Turner react to this? Was he resistant, embracing this?
No, John just wanted, if I could come up with a script that John felt was a Doctor whose script as he knew it, he'd go with it. And like Ian Briggs' first attempt, we went through a whole bunch of stuff, but the first one I showed John involved, this is a ridiculous notion, but it had a character he had some kind of property scam because he was building in the TARDIS. He was a property developer building inside the TARDIS. No, but that was and John said, that idea just doesn't work because, the TARDIS he said the teenies, the children, can just get the idea it's bigger on the inside than the outside, but it's just a silly idea. It was a very silly idea. But that would be the sort of thing he'd offer advice. And the thing that he would say, which was really helpful, is, that's doctorish, or that's not doctorish. So although he wasn't a writer himself and couldn't have come up with a story to save his life, what he did have was he had a good sense of what would work within his terms of reference. And he was quite, I think he wanted, there's a saying like you don't buy a dog and then bark yourself. He didn't, having got a new script editor, I don't think he wanted to be really controlling about the scripts. Although I have heard in the past, he was quite controlling about the scripts. But I think he sort of I could, way back in the, but he'd done it for a long time. And I always compare it to having kids. Like with your first child, you're very controlling. You want the dog to do this. By the time the fifth kid comes along, it's like you don't care anymore. So I thought that John was a bit like that by the time he got to me.
How aware were you of any animosity like that?
Well, I came in completely unaware, but soon, within a few weeks, I became aware that Eric, my predecessor, had left under a cloud. And there's this is a true story. I couldn't open the drawer of my desk because the key in it had been snapped off, right? It was still half the key was still in there. So I got the BBC carpenter, who's a very nice man called Mr. Mystery. It's all true. And he came along with his little trolley. This is like the Stone Age guys. He had a little trolley with some tools in it. And he'd come to my office and he'd open the drawer of the desk, and inside the drawer were some crumpled fragments of script. And a glass, wine glass rolling around with some red wine still in it. And I had this vision of his last day there. Finish one, chuck it in the drawer, lock the drawer, break the key, out you go. So, and I'd also heard from sort of the rumour mill that John and he had a huge falling out. And I sort of asked John about it. And John got this very cagey look at his face and said, why are you interested? And I said, oh, it's just that obviously you guys had a huge row and I just, I wouldn't want something like that to happen. And I can't remember what John's exact answer was, but it's just that they'd worked together for a long time under very intense conditions, and they just had a huge flaming row and fallen out with each other. And I think that's probably as accurate in terms as you could get. And there was a lot of pressure on Doctor Who when I was doing it. It was 13 episodes, and Eric had been doing it was 26 episodes. So I can't imagine what that, it would be more than twice as much pressure. So it's quite understandable. And I think they were great mates initially. And that was probably the greatest mistake, is that they'd socialise together, go boozing together afterwards. That's the sign of drinking beer. And it's fatal. If you're working with somebody all day, then you go out drinking with them afterwards, you better have a really sound friendship or relationship, because I think that then it just became too much.
You ended up in the lift with Eric, say, with a number of other Doctor Who script editors.
That's a great story, because this was at Panopticon, which is a big Doctor Who convention in London. And there were a whole bunch of us script editors, and we all were being taken in the lift. It was at this big hotel somewhere up to the stage. And I'd never met Eric before. And we're all standing in the lift. This story works better standing up, so forgive me. So we're all standing in the lift, and Eric says, Andrew, you're not a proper script editor. And I just bristled like this. And then he pointed to himself, and all the other script editors with his big paunches. And he got me. He knew what I was going to think. It was such a good gag. What did you get here? Because I was furious, and I was like, oh. What a great gag. And I've always thought I've liked Eric tremendously ever since then. We sort of stayed in touch.
So, that's terrific. I love that story.
Where did you hear that?
It was an interview I read.
Oh, it was cool. It works better with a visual effect. I'm going to stand up.
I could certainly imagine it. We're going to have a little look at a clip here from the Newsnights from earlier this year that some defenders jumped out of this one.
Colourful costumes and celebrity casting were techniques used by John Nathan Turner, producer for the whole of the 1980s, to keep Doctor Who in the public eye.
The programme certainly attracted some amazing names. The problem was that I think sometimes the way they were directed or the way they were dressed undermined the fact that they were, good actors essentially. If they were being encouraged to camp it up.
Sometimes the programme looked less drama, more panto.
How utterly evil.
Casting as the new Doctor an actor with a reputation for visual comedy caused some to grumble.
Yes, they're just jealous. I got to play my spoons on Kate O'Mara's front. No spoons did bounce. I just arrived with my bag of tricks and started playing the role. But then as we went through, I realised, there's more. This is a great acting role. This is one of the best acting roles in television, really, because you can do so much with it. You can go so many places.
There was a pantomime aspect to Doctor Who, but we did manage to use that to our advantage in the Happiness Patrol, in which you have all that glitz and camp, and it's deeply, deeply sinister.
Knows on what I'm trying to say, Gilbert.
You make sweets that kill people.
The trouble with doing that is there's a danger that when people looked at it, all they saw was the surface, and in fact, as soon as they heard that the title was the Happiness Patrol, people assumed the word.
I thought it was pathetic. I mean, I'd seen Star Wars Encounters and E.T. And then I had to watch these cardboard things probably clonking across the floor.
See, Fifi moves really badly, poorly animated, but she looks kind of great because, and here's where they drop these rocks on her, which are obviously plastic boulders that don't weigh anything at all. It's sort of dichotomy of the show with the good design and the bad design in the same shot.
Even a quarter of a century later, though, in an age of CGI, some of the effects work still stands up to scrutiny.
Oh no, I remember this effect. This was a homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark, the melting Nazis from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it's very effective.
It was brilliantly done. It was so simple. It was a very well made from wax. And then they got two industrial hair dryers on either side of the camera and blew onto it. So that was glorious.
How did you get away with that? I just want to say I really like that clip because I got my new spectacles on. I was at the Excel Centre last week and I was mostly in the green room, but I actually went down on the floor to check it out. And this middle-aged gentleman came up to me and he said, "Oh, you were David Tennant. My son likes to dress up as Matt Smith." But it hadn't helped him to get away with it. In the script, I think it probably says Kane melts because he was supposed to be an icy kind of guy, right? So we hadn't envisaged exactly how they did it. But I thought, and I saw it was the Raiders Lost Ark melting Nazi kind of thing. I thought, well, that's really kind of cool. I suppose the short answer as to how we got away with it is that nobody was watching, nobody cared. However, there were things in Paradise Towers when Stephen was developing the script and they had to these evil. I don't know how familiar you are with the stories. There are these lovely old ladies who turn out to be evil cannibals. And I said, "Oh, Stephen, it's great. These lovely little old ladies turn out to be evil cannibals." He said, "You know what? They're lesbians too." Which nobody got. But we were very clear that if they were going to try and eat Mel, which is the way they were, they'd have to somehow threaten her and stop her escaping. So I said they mustn't use knives because there'd been a moral panic about knife crime and the fact that, you know, on TV shows people could, because every child in the land would imitate a knife crime, of course. So anyway, there was this very sensitive hot button issue about knives. So I said, for Christ's sake, don't have any knives in it. So we came up with this, in the script, it very clearly says that one woman's got a trident and the other's got a net like in Spartacus, like gladiator stuff, right? Which was perfect because it was sinister, but kind of weird and offbeat. It wasn't a knife. And as soon as we got on the set, they decided to dispense with it. And they had fucking hugest knives you've ever seen. And I said to John, "We're going to get into trouble on this." He said, "No, it'll all be fine." And they did. They broadcast it, and the shit hit the fan. And then later they trimmed that out. I think for video release. For a while anyway, they cut the knives out. But John, to his eternal credit, came to me and said, "Oh, you know what? You were right. You warned us and we ignored you and you were right." Which nobody in television ever says those words. So I've often thought very highly of John just on that basis.
Was there ever a difficulty between his red pen or his famous red pen and your artistic wishes?
I never saw the red pen at all. In fact, one time he got angry and he said, "I'm letting you push this as far as you can, you know." But it wasn't like stop. It was just like he was having a bit of a tantrum because he'd given me so much rope. And I thought, and he what? I think he sort of bent over backwards to try and, perhaps because he sensed that I'd brought on all these new writers, or that I couldn't perhaps put into words exactly what I was doing, but I had a clear vision, and he could see that it would work. So he really, John didn't blue pencil or red pencil stuff. He was very good. I mean, what would happen is at a very early stage we'd submit storylines. So if he was rejecting something, it would be at the paragraph stage, not the script stage. But with one famous exception, which was we'd commissioned Dalton the Bandman, and the first episode had been written as fine, and the second episode came in. And I was happy in my office. It was Friday afternoon, so I was prepared. I'm going to beat my girl up and go down to Kent. You know, not a care in the world. And then John sort of called me to his office and said, "Have you read this script from up?" I hadn't read it yet. It just arrived. And I said, "No," but I could tell that he wasn't happy with it. And he said, "Oh, it's just like comedy. It's just nothing happens." He said, "It doesn't work out." He was obviously, it wasn't as though he was having a go at me in a mind game kind of way. He's obviously really worried about it. So I freaked and so I took the script. So I rang up Malcolm. And I got on the blower to him and said, look, we're going to have to do something about this script. I remember my girlfriend at the time saying, well, if he's going to write for Doctor Who, he's just going to have to do a better job than that, you know. So it was like her job too. So I got on the phone to Malcolm and said, look, what we're going to rewrite episode 2. We're going to put in much more action, make it much more hard-hitting. I mean, I remember in his draft, like, that Mel was on a swing and talking to the Doctor, and like, it was languorous and slow-paced. So I think John was probably right about it. But so I rang Malcolm and we discussed on the phone what we were going to do. And so that was Saturday, and Sunday morning I came up to London early, met him, and now he picked me up at the station. We drove back to his flat, which was in North London, and we just sat there for the rest of the day working out in detail exactly what we might even have been writing dialogue, basically laying out the script and exactly what he was going to do. One of the things, you know, that there's, somebody said to me, oh, it's really shocking in Delta, there's that bus full of nice people, they just all get killed. They got killed because we did that rewrite. We thought, you know, this isn't really like comedy anymore, so let's start with killing all those poor tourists. So I sat there with Malcolm, we worked all day, and I think we dialed out the Chinese takeover, and we worked all day. And then the best part was, I said goodbye to Malcolm, I had it all sorted, the script wasn't written completely, but we knew what we were doing. It was all relaxed, and it was all done, we shook hands, like, went out to catch the tube, and I got on the tube, and I'm going back across North London to Hampstead, and I looked across along the tube, there's this guy sitting there, it was Ian Briggs, I swear to God, and he had no idea, it was just one of those coincidences. So I went up to him and said, Ian, where's the scripts? And he was totally freaked out. It's like the script had been stalking him all over. It was just one of those moments I couldn't resist, but it was a nice little piece of synchronicity. That was the one time that John really interfered. And I look back now and think, you know, did he overreact? I couldn't say, but I think the script was way better the way we rewrote it, although we did kill a bus.
Taking Delta as an example of this then, you have the script, it's how you want it, and then Ken Dodd gets cast in it.
Well, the thing is, Malcolm had written, as he went too far in the second episode, but he'd written often quite a lot of light comical stuff. So you didn't really mind. Ken Dodd was great. I mean, he's great at what he does. You stick him in that kind of glitzy costume, and then you got Bunny going, oh, it's also lovely, and it's just all too much. It all moves in a certain direction. So the comic tendency got blown out of proportion. Malcolm's really good writing, but he doesn't. But what happened in episode 2 was just you could go too far with that. And I would never do a script again that was as broadly comic as that. But it did have all that 50s stuff. It's kind of really quite nice because you could use that music of the period. I'm going to tell you a story about that. We knew we were going to set in the 50s, so we're going to have all these 50s tunes in it. Oh, it's great. So, you know, I like popular music. So and those days in the BBC, theoretically, there were all these departments that were supposed to help you. So I got on the phone to the music department, and I said, oh, could you get a bunch of records of 50s popular songs for the period so we could choose some for the show? And they just wouldn't. This woman just wouldn't do it. And it's like, you know, I went to John and I finally said, look, they won't do this for me. And he said, what do they think? We're going to use it to have a party with or something? And he had to get on the phone and give this woman a bollocking. But I think basically